Hi, I'm Jolene Ivey. I'm Chair of the County Council, and welcome to our second episode of Council Conversations. I'm here with the Vice Chair,
Sydney Harrison.
and with our Police Chief, Malik Aziz.
Hello.
So it's just great to get together. I know we've been wanting to do this for a while, and just to get it out of the way, because I know it's going to happen, can you two get over your football thing? Can you all have this fight right now?
You know what?
Let's have it
I don't
now.
want to fight with the vice chair. Because he comes here wearing trash and stuff.
No,
You
he
let him
controls
just
the
like this.
budget.
You
That's
let him
what
wear.
it
Oh,
is.
you know what? He's fantastic. Thank you so much. You're looking wonderful. Spiffy rags you
Look,
have
I
on.
just want you to know that I'm in proper uniform as you are. Burgundy and gold. You know, we're in the Prince George's County, DMV area, and you know the team we support are the Washington Commanders, which is in
My district.
That's right.
So be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
You know what? I am going to be nice. It looks like that letter is upside down, though. It should
No,
be.
that says
it should
W.
turn. Oh, I thought it should be an M for marginalized.
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Forget it. It was just thinking. Thinking out loud. Thinking out loud.
Okay.
We're not going to
two.
get this out the way. He's
All right. We'll come back later.
Okay, we'll come back
But I
later
do
to
want to
it.
get to the thing that you are really here for.
But let's do
Yes.
it.
And that is to talk about public safety here in Prince George's County.
Indeed.
So can you give us a quick update? Like, where are we with crime?
Well, let me say this. This is like good news here. We are in our 7th month of the year. Total crime is down. Total crime across the county
That's
is
good.
down.
That's great
And that is a
news.
good thing,
Yeah.
measured against
but
last year.
I did hear, though, that violent crime is up.
It is. Violent crime, well, total property crime is down.
Okay.
Total crime is down. But violent crime is up. And violent crime has been hovering around up on any given week, some 8% to about 12% up. Now, why is it up? Because homicides, we are down today on homicides. We are down on non-fatal shootings. We are down on carjackings. And then so when you hear those numbers, those are things that get people attention, right?
Sure.
And then you say, well, why are we up? Well, I
Right.
can tell you why we up. The assaults with no weapon, and assaults, domestic violence with no weapons. That is what is up. Now, we have had 13 homicides this year related to family-related, domestic violence type relationships. But those assaults with no weapons, domestic violence, and assaults with no weapons, they are driving our violent crime upwards. And they count on those categories. And even though we're slightly up in citizen robberies, people are taking weapons or they're strong arming, robbing people across the county, those are not the drivers. The drivers are people fighting, pushing, spitting, threatening. All of those things have overwhelmed our system here and driven our violent crime numbers up. That's the problem.
And I would like to ask the question, Madam Chair. When we talk about domestic violence, as you know, any violence in our community, there's no place for it. And the men and women of Prince George's County do everything that they can to make sure that our citizens are safe. And first, let me just say thank you to you and the Prince George's County Police Department for all that you do. But I was reading that domestic violence up is about 25% this year. And I know that's something that our community's been grappling with for a long time. From your experience throughout your entire law enforcement career, domestic violence has always been a thing in our community. From a holistic standpoint, the reasons why it happens, which there should be no real reason for it, but what are you systemically seeing that as the years go on, why this has been something that has plagued our communities?
Well, thank you. And of course, domestic violence, is across the nation is a problem.
Yeah.
And here it's been a problem. I'll reiterate one point with the numbers going up. The numbers are high, even upwards of more percentage than that. The non-fatal shootings of domestic violence are down. Any type of other weapon that's used in domestic violence, it is down. It is the fights on domestic violence that has driven that number that you mentioned to that level. So these are not weapon domestic assaults. These are non-weapon assaults that are driving the crime. At no time should male or female should be putting their hands on another person to exact some type of ill-gotten conflict resolution. This is what I see in domestic violence. It is the ability to carry out the entire process. And we know what happens. This is a person on the day that it's happening. They're an evil person. They're mad. But when we file a report, it takes a lot of work from a patrol officer. He's completing all the necessary reports. We're passing that baton over to our investigators. Our investigators are preparing a case, and then they drop the case. And that happens across the United States. Now, some jurisdictions across the United States will not allow that in the best interest of the person who has been victimized, who may not realize or understand totally that they're a victim. And they just don't want anything bad to happen to sometimes the breadwinner, sometimes the person is the parent of the child, and they don't want to disrupt that environment. And it's a very real situation, and we have to tread very carefully with it along a balanced line of it. But that is the real driver. If people would carry out the process, then we could get help for some of those abusers who are out there doing these things, and sometimes they're doing it over and over again, but they don't get a final day in court.
But how does that work, though? If you're having a situation like this, and the person who called the police in the first place decides, well, I don't want to press charges, if you have proof that it happened, can you continue the case?
Not without a complainant. A person has to be there to complain.
But you say they do at other places in the
some
country.
other states.
So what do we need to do so we can do it here?
Well, I think that would involve a really bigger conversation with our lawmakers, with our judges, with our state attorney's office, and our family services. All people involved would have to, sit down and come up with something that is meaningful for us to carry out. I know every place is different, and what we've seen is some of the most egregious places, and it's very difficult to treat a victim as non-cooperative and hostile for their own interests. And that you can imagine that is very difficult. A person saying, I don't want to go forward, it was a mistake, I didn't tell the truth, and then it's gone. And we say, no, we have pictures. Well, we interviewed you that night, here you're on video, you did, this happened. And we're going to make sure that this person gets some kind of justice. Very difficult process, but I think we all need to sit down and not just talk about domestic violence, but the action is being about domestic violence. That's where we need to be.
Chief, we've had a couple briefings through the years. You come to the council and you've given us updates on crime in Prince George's County. Domestic violence has always come up. And one of the talking points that I remember that you spoke upon was we got into a place in society that we talk about, you have the abuser, and yes, we want to get them all the treatment that they need so they can become a healthy person, because I do believe someone who commits domestic violence is sick, okay?
True.
But what domestic violence does to someone, the trauma, along with financial, spiritual, mental, psychological, abusive, those type of abuses, it kind of, in totality brings trauma, right?
Yeah,
and you talked about victim-centric, basically care around the victim, the person that has actually gone through it. And I know that we've gone in a day and a time where we try to do everything that we can to make sure holistically we provide the services for everyone. But trauma's trauma. And when people get triggered from the trauma that they've experienced, whether someone's raised their voice or whatever, I would like to know, when you talk about victim-centric, you talked about 21st century state-of-the-art policing. Can you talk about the victim-centric philosophy that you've had?
Well, it's real easy for me. In our system, it's been so easy for us to look over and say, okay, what are we going to do about the perpetrator, the person who has committed the crime? and we forget about the person reporting the crime. That happens all the time. It happens in every category of crime, whether it's from being traumatized from a carjacking, being traumatized as a family member from homicidal, violence. Everything revolves around the victim suffering trauma. And I've talked to these people, and they have some horrific stories to tell. And I've heard from them just very directly. So when I talk about what are we serving, I said, make no mistake about it. I don't want anybody to ever make this mistake. I am victim centric. A police chief has no choice but to put the victim first. And that's so we put all our resources there. We take the report in a professional way. We investigate it in a professional way. We have communications with you. We walk with you through the system, and we say you matter most to us. Then we don't throw away people. We throw away behaviors. We say love and care means accountability. That means that we are now going to focus after we give the victim every single thing we can, right? Every single thing we can. Then we focus on the person who committed the crime. How can we help you?
Right. So does this mean that you're connecting them with some kind of services so they're able to kind of work through what happened to them and how to avoid it happening again? Which could mean moving out, getting other housing, getting a job, doing something else that gets them away from them.
Yeah, I think our investigative unit, working along the lines with family services, or CAFE, or many of the other groups that are involved in providing those services, and I think Prince George's County, I really believe that we have everything in place to move things forward. So we do connect them. Even on another note, thank you to you guys in this August County Council. We have the authority to hire a victim's advocate, which has been missing for many years. And now we're going to bring that person on board so that they can actually speak directly to the victims of violent crime or crime that's in the violent category, so that we can provide them services. So we are connecting the dots. And I just can't speak more positive and high enough of all of our partners who are involved in this. The police we don't do it alone,
Right.
But we have some great partners, Madam Chair.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I wanted to shift a little bit to another kind of crime that's been happening. I know it's been kind of prevalent in Bowie for some reason, so I don't know how much you'd be involved in it since that's in a municipality, but jugging, when people are held up at ATMs.
Yeah, it's happening all over the county. Not in whoever puts out a press release or get information out. It's becoming so prevalent here though in this area that the FBI even put out an update also about how to be safe. Watch what you're doing at an ATM. Just pay close attention. Don't be moving so fast. Put your money in your pocket. Go when it's day and it's well lit, or other people are around. All of these things have come into prevention with jugging. Now, jugging.
Where does that term come from?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where you get it at. I can tell you, jugging was something totally different in Texas,
Okay.
which is one of the originators. We'll say the originator of the term jugging. And the original jugging was you would wait for a person to come out the bank. And you wouldn't rob him or come from an ATM. You would follow them. Get in there. When they got in their car, if they stopped at a location, you would either burglarize their car because you knew they had money and they left it in a bank bag in the car or in the trunk. And then if they couldn't do that, they would cause an accident. They would just slightly hit you. You would get out the car and say what happened, and then they would rob you.
Wow.
That jugging has been going on for, I don't know, about 15 years now. And so now the term jugging here is I'll rob you at an ATM. And it has taken on but the criminals, people who give them names, they give all kind of crimes names over time, and no one will ever, get an understanding on what kind of name a criminal will give a act that they're doing. As I just showed you, just taking on a different meaning,
Right.
a different meaning of
Chief, so if you have any safety tips that you could give someone when they're visiting an ATM, just real fast about how they should conduct themselves when they're going to an ATM.
Well, and it's what I said earlier. Pay attention. Awareness is the best piece of crime prevention I can ever give. Slow down for a minute. Take a look around when you get there. Do you see anything that makes you uncomfortable before you go,
Right.
when you walk, especially when you're walking up to an ATM? Go in the daytime. Don't go late at night to an ATM, or when it's dark. Don't get out there for that. If you can have somebody else with you, bring somebody else with you. Go to high trafficked areas that people are there. And not off the beaten path, when you need to go to an ATM. And really, it's just about paying really close attention to what you're doing. This day and age, we move so fast.
Right.
Everything is fast.
Yeah.
We go do it, and then we get our money at ATM, and then we hold it in our hand.
not
Yeah,
me.
you put all your money in your pocket.
Actually, I hardly ever go to ATMs anymore. And it's not because of crime, but
Yeah.
because I hardly ever use cash anymore.
Yeah.
Same here,
Yeah.
but most times I'm not using cash. But if you are, you get a big wad of money and then you got it in your hand. You're advertising.
Nah,
Don't-
I grew up in
No.
Northeast DC.
So the chief
That's
said,
not how I roll.
you put it in your sock, right?
Madam Chair, you heard what the
Madam
chief
Chair
said.
puts her money in her sock.
Slow down.
Slow
down.
down.
And I was going to say
Mm-hmm.
this: if you're a person that's going to the ATM by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I do know that the cars you can buy these little holders with your cell phone.
Yes.
Turn your cell phone on and point it towards the ATM, so when you get out the car,
Mm-hmm.
you can have that actually being recorded to make sure that you're okay.
And if you got that, that's a great idea. You see, this is the crime fighting vice
man,
chair
you
right
know,
here.
hey,
This
man.
is out here.
You know, my husband's got a bill in Congress that has to do with making the penalties for being held up at an ATM the same as when you're in the bank, because
Right.
there's been a difference up till now.
And that has posed the biggest problem over the last few decades. The bank usually does not own the ATM, and that becomes the problem. So when everyone thinks it's a federal crime, but it's not, because
But he's trying to make it one.
Yeah, I wish they would.
He's
Of
working on
course,
it.
I was with the presser, with your husband's great
Yes.
guy, and I support him in those efforts that he's doing. He's leading the way, but we need to, because most people think if you go up to a bank ATM that it's owned by the government or it's owned through the bank. It's not. Nothing associated with it is, and when it becomes that, we'll be able to pass it along to our federal partners who have a little bit more teeth in what they do, and they'll be able to do that. And I'm hoping that everything goes well on that. But that's the problem. That's the real issue.
So, speaking of we're talking law enforcement, we're talking about crime, we're talking about Prince George's County Police Department. I know just recently we had some events that happened down at National Harbor. Do you have any update on the juvenile curfew at National Harbor?
Yes, we've had several hundred contacts. We haven't, which is a positive. This is a positive note on what I'm saying, and I appreciate the both of you and your leadership in regards to what many say is the crown jewel of Prince George's County, and those numbers have went down. Our interactions since the juvenile, the update, the amended version of the resolution, it's went down, and we've had positive note, positive compliance from parents. We've had positive notes from the residents who stay there, positive interaction with the business owners who I talk to quite frequently when I'm in the harbor. They see me walking in the harbor and they talk to me. Everything about it has turned positive, and that's all we ask for. A little cooperation and a little compliance to maintain one of our best places in Prince George's County. And it's worked. It's
Now,
worked.
have we had any other business areas actually apply? I haven't heard
Not
about
yet.
any.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Well,
Not-
hopefully it's not needed.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
But it's a tool in the toolbox. We
box.
can pull it out
That's
when we
right.
need it.
It is a tool in the toolbox, and I always have to remind people we have a lot of men and women who make these things happen, and these things can get expensive. So that's why we ask for cooperation and compliance in order to make it viable, and it is viable now, thanks to your help, thanks to the leadership of our county executive, and our partnership with National Harbor businesses, residents, and the Peterson Group and National Harbor Group. All of them have been exceptional with us, and I appreciate them.
I really feel like parents just needed to know it was an issue and to be told, hey, you really need to keep your kids away from here, especially at night on weekends.
Yeah.
And that seems to have made a big difference.
Because we would think that people would, watch the news or be updated on what's going on.
People are so busy.
And
Yeah,
they
they're
are.
busy.
And they are.
As you
and
said, slow down.
Slow down. And they don't. They like, oh, I had no idea it was a curfew.
Right.
And it's like, where have you been? But they're out working. They're out living. They're trying, and they don't know that. But once we tell them, we've got nothing but cooperation. Very few have we had to take to the next level with calling their parents. That to me, that's great.
Yeah.
See,
Absolutely.
the success is not measured in how heavy the fist is.
Right.
It is in the lack of, because that means cooperation and
Yeah.
compliance.
You
That
know,
means positive.
I wanted to say, Chief, when that situation happened, I mean, you were front and center. You were making sure that you had every tool in the toolbox. You reached out to the chair. You reached out to myself. You reached out to Councilmember Burrows. You reached out to the county exec. And it was an all hands on deck. And
Indeed.
really, it's good to see that the people of National Harbor are feeling safe. The businesses feel like they see a move in a positive direction, and our law enforcement is present, and that's more important, because we talk about community policing. I know you're
Yes.
big on that, and you all have done a great job.
Well, thank you so much. That means a great deal to me, the men and women who allow me to be their leader, and the trust that you have placed in me from Madam Chair and Vice Chair with the County Council. Those things mean a lot. I think as a team, we're a team.
Yeah.
And as teammates, we try to work in a positive direction so that Prince George's County can remain the safest and best county in the nation.
Well, Glenn and I went down there for dinner on Friday night, and I'd kind of forgotten about the curfew, but as you're driving up, there's a flashing sign to
Yes,
remind you. I
yes.
was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was,
Yeah.
the parking garage was packed, I can tell you
Yeah,
that. It seems to be going great down
It's
there.
it's
so
a
I'm
very
glad.
different atmosphere down there, and you talk to the business owners and the residents, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, but also just around the county, anywhere that looks like they might need some help. I'm glad to hear that they haven't felt that need.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Let's
Yeah,
hope
well, we're
it-
halfway through the summer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer's over when school starts back for us.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, Madam Chair, another topic that came up during our briefing in February, and I shared with you, it was kind of personal to me that, that as the chief said, that you have to be careful about your surroundings everywhere you go.
Sure.
You got to slow down. And in February, I almost experienced a carjacking.
Yeah, I remember
And,
that. That was scary.
It was scary, very scary. And I know there's many people that have experienced carjacking all across our county. But Chief, you seem to have been able to do something to drop those numbers. And how were you able to drop the numbers?
Well, I think I wouldn't take all the credit. I think we are.
You can
as
give a
team,
little to us.
that I will.
thank
I
you.
will, because I think leadership around the county, including you guys in the county council, it is teamwork that helps us reduce crime, violent crime especially. So we have we created the carjacking interdiction unit over 3 years ago. And it's been the great success of that unit doing a singular focus to that violent crime. The auto theft unit, the Washington Area Vehicle Enforcement Unit, great work. Our interaction with MPD, going back and forth across the line, that has proven to be another success. And then there are things that don't look like they contribute. They are crime prevention. That is the many youth programs that we have, our engagement with young people, more jobs, vibrant jobs in Prince George's County, better community engagement, better interaction with the schools and the youth programs that they're doing. There are so many inputs that we're doing right, and we can turn the corner with that. And I think that's what the success is. We have to keep on doing it. We have to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about ghost guns. You know, the guns that don't have serial numbers on them.
Yeah, the unserialized weapons.
Right, and they've been a real problem, and not just in Prince George's County, but across the country.
Across the nation, yeah. It's been, you know, our numbers of ghost guns this year that we found on the streets or on a person, they've went down this year,
That's
which is
good.
a good thing. That's a positive thing.
What do you think you can attribute that to?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. One thing is it is the laws, and it is awareness, but it is also that the numbers, I don't want to give a false sense that something, you know, drastically changed, but a lot of our arrest and recoveries came from a person was smoking cannabis in a vehicle, and then that gave probable cause. That is no longer the law. The probable cause is not established.
So it's not necessarily that there are fewer guns, you just have a less ability to stop
Yes.
people and find
Yes,
them.
yes.
That's
Well,
actually not good.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, I just try to be balanced with it. Our lawmakers decided that would be the best course of action, and as a police chief, our job is to follow the course of law. And so we can't. That probable cause does not exist anymore. So we immediately seen those numbers decrease when that law took effect. So I would love to delve into it. We're working with the University of Maryland and our intelligence unit, and they are on board looking at guns, looking at doing some research. We're going to delve into it a little bit deeper to see, you know, from people who study doctorals, and all of those things, you know, for research, and see if we can get down to it. But I can tell you what, we'll take a positive. I think there's some things you can't hide.
Well, the important thing is that violent crime is
Down.
down. So hopefully that is also,
Violent crime is down without the assaults.
Right.
Total crime is down.
right.
But
Property crime
yeah,
is up,
property crime. No, property
Property
crime
crime
is
is
Property
down.
crime down too.
Total crime is down. Property crime is down.
Oh,
Violent
it's
crime.
violent
Violent
crime.
crime is up.
It's
Why though? Why? Remember, this is a lesson here. Why?
Okay,
Why is
why?
violent crime up? What are the drivers?
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence assaults, no weapon, and regular assaults, no weapon. Now, if we take out those categories, guess what?
What?
We're down a -1%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We're down 1%.
We're down -1 if you remove the assaults with no weapons, the fights, the pushing,
Right.
the stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's an amazing stat.
You know, one of the partnerships that I want to make sure we mention, you know, and the public knows, is the Family Justice Center
It's
in
great.
Prince George's County.
Fantastic.
Great
Right.
advocacy that is happening in that center, and if people are not aware with it, please look up the Family Justice Center. If you know a family friend or loved one that needs help,
Right.
make sure that you
It's a
get
great
that
resource.
information down, and you know, make sure
Right.
that we get that to our loved ones.
And we're partnering with them. We're headed to a camp here very shortly, so it's going to be
Okay.
fantastic with them. We have a great partnership, so we're going to be up there with the kids. They're taking them out. They're going to show
For
them.
these young people whose families
Yes,
have been
who've
involved
been-
with domestic
yes,
violence?
Yes,
Wow.
yes, it's amazing, and we're partnering with them. We have a great relationship, and we're going to accompany them with some of our young people, and they're going up and in the camp. Some of them have never been outside of Prince George's County, still in the state, but they're going to get up and have a great time at the camp.
I just need to get a quick update because we're about to wind up.
Okay.
I mean, the good news is that I had a new grandbaby born on July 4th,
Yeah.
which was wonderful. But also what
Congratulations.
happened on July 4th,
Oh,
a
yeah.
6-year-old kid was killed in
6-year-old.
Marlow Heights.
Yeah.
Have there
Yes.
been no arrests? Where are we on that?
Well, we are working on I would say, great and promising lead.
Oh.
And here it is right here. We know the person who did it, okay? And we're going to arrest him. We're
Good.
working with some partners to bring that person to justice.
Now,
And we are going to bring him to justice.
Is this from like a tip? Is that how you?
Yes, we have such a great relationship now. Our homicide detectives pointed out a couple of weeks ago that since we have ramped up community engagement in this county and our relationships, they've got more tips to crime solvers than any time in our
Wow.
past.
So,
And
yeah,
yes,
you know, Prince George's Crime Solvers is such a wonderful organization.
yes, it is.
I met with them recently, and we really have to find ways to get more funding for
Yeah.
them. They really need, they get money through grants, et
Yeah.
cetera.
Yes,
And
right.
they are extremely effective.
Well, in this particular, and I love Bill Steen and his leadership over there, former Prince George's County
Right.
Police. We had a lot of tips, and we had some cooperation with people who were on the scene. A lot of times, people don't cooperate with us when it happens.
Well, when you
but
kill a 6-year-old, I am so
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
few
No,
days
that-
later,
that should not
Right.
the
happen.
next day, a few days after that, they were cooperating with us,
Right.
and they told us everything we needed to know.
That's
There's
good.
still a level of cooperation that we need from them, but we'll get it in due time. But we notice who this person is. We're going to arrest them, and you guys are going to be the first to know when we bring that person to
Please.
justice.
Okay.
But I can tell you right now, we're actively looking for
You
that
know,
person.
my heart sunk when I saw that. I
Just
mean,
awful.
4th of July celebration,
Right.
and then something like that happens. Just, you know, we talked about the word trauma, the trauma that is impacted by the community, the family.
Yeah.
It just, you can't even wrap your head around that.
No.
And my heart goes out to him. I talked to his
Yeah.
mother,
Right.
and you know, of course, she's just going through it.
Oh, yeah.
But I can tell you,
Devastating.
people are out. They just want to have a good time, you know, gathering, and
Yeah.
then here comes a person to the party who is there to create problems, and
Right.
that's exactly what they did. And we're gonna bring him to justice.
He's got to be
Yeah.
held accountable.
Oh, he
Yes,
will.
to the highest extent of the
Yes.
law.
You know, I tell people this. Last year, somebody said, "Oh, did we get to some magic number of homicides?" And it was like 100. We were actually under that. But I said, the magic number of homicides is one. One person.
One person is too many.
is too many.
Right.
There it is, Madam Chair.
Ma-
One person
Madam, the
is
magic number
too
is
Zero.
many.
No
One
homicides.
is
That's
too
what-
many.
one
It
is too
doesn't.
many.
That's right.
I'll just
Yeah.
say this, you know, me and Madam Chair, we spoke about that, and we saw you on the scene on 4th of July, but our hearts just go out to the family. I mean, it's
It's
just,
terrible.
it's terrible.
It's terrible.
And, you know, I'll just say this to the community. If you see something, say something. Your information can greatly help making sure that we safeguard our community, protect our community, and honestly, violence has no place in our community.
Right. I would say, just let me add this, because when we're looking at, you know, violence taking place, you're out there, you're doing these things. When we say it has zero place in our communities, then that means all of us have to step up and say we won't accept it. We won't
Yeah.
tolerate it. Gun violence is it's more than a tragedy. A 6-year-old looks like it's an atrocity. And
Yeah.
atrocities are something that we can do something about. And that's what we should be working
Yeah.
on, doing something about it.
So, Madam Chair, I know we're getting limited on time.
Yes, we are.
Well-
When does football season start then?
Oh, well, training camp
I
starts
should've known it
tomorrow,
was coming.
actually.
Training camp starts
Yeah, and that's when
tomorrow.
my season
Will
begins.
you be there?
I will make sure I visit Commander's training camp this year. You know, the chief has publicly shamed me, Madam Chair, for 3 years straight. The Commanders have just been taking nothing but L's from the Dallas
But
Cowboys.
this is our year.
But this is our year. And so, community, there will be another bet this year.
Oh, my.
I'm going to give Chief some grace, even though he didn't show me that grace and mercy and compassion.
Oh, I showed you plenty of
But
mercy.
I will say
Well, it
this.
was cold outside that day.
By
It
the
was
first
cold,
game
right?
of the year, the bet will take place. So, Chief, you know, first, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
But 3 fun facts about you, Chief.
My favorite athlete, Muhammad Ali. My favorite team, Dallas Cowboys. And most people don't know that I went to Dallas Carter High, the world's greatest high school, where I played ball at. and those are my three fun
Was Billy
facts.
Bob Thornton your football coach?
Well, I think he was. He asked for some biscuits and gravy, and some mustard. I think he did. I'm from the great state of Texas, but I'm here in the beautiful Prince George's County. Prince George's County proud.
And Prince George's County Police Department is hiring, correct?
We are hiring. Please come join our family. Did you see that beautiful commercial?
I saw your beautiful
Yeah.
commercial. It's on all the time.
And we have another one coming. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to make it happen. But come join our family. We're looking for some great men and women to progress policing in Prince George's County.
And we even gave you all a little extra money to help you out with luring people in.
Yes, I appreciate you so much.
What do they call that, a signing bonus?
Yeah. So you still hitting me on this right now. I hope you have a losing season.
Now,
Oh, okay, I mean a winning season. A winning season.
thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. We're always on the same side of
Yeah.
some issues.
We are on
Well,
some issues.
some
Well, hold
issues.
up, hold
Not
up,
the team.
hold up, though, Madam Chair. I
Yes,
am
sir.
now a cowmander. You know why? You
What
stole our
is a cowmander?
You stole our coach. You stole the coaches. You took some of our players. I have no choice. You see what the blueprint for a winning team meant, and now I have no choice but to make a transition as a cowmander. I'm half Cowboys, half Commanders. I'm showing up right now, Cowmanders.
And on that note, thank you so much, Chief Aziz, for coming to
Thank
join
you,
us
Madam
today.
Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Helpful
Vice Chair.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.